Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are grafted into the house, a Gentile brother or sister, grafted into the house, under the blood of Yahusha HaMashiach, whom we commonly refer to, the world refers to as Jesus Christ. I want to welcome you this morning. So, before I get started into this, yesterday I mentioned the video by the one bishop. I can't remember his name, and I, I I remember what I said. I said I looked at this bishop because when I looked at him earlier when he was talking about, Putin and Ukraine getting ready to go to war, and why it was gonna happen, there were some points of credibility which had me listening in the first place regarding the video of the assassination of Pastor Darby, and so I wanted to caveat that and say, look, it was a strong possibility, but as I had listened to the rest of it, and because I only listened for a good 20 minutes, and it was like, oh, okay, he was trying to bring some points together. But then, as soon as he went off, after I did the broadcast yesterday, I started to listen, and he was going off into Project Naomi and the thuggery and the thuggies and all this other stuff. I was like, wow. I said, wow. And then I listened to Sister E and Minister Yakoba, and they were like, yeah, it was clickbait. So I apologize, family, if for making mention of that, because yeah, um, you know, I I was gonna say, well, maybe for the benefit of doubt, he was just trying to set the stage, and then he said it was gonna be a couple part series, and he wasn't like this, at least in the Russia Putin Ukraine. He was breaking that down, but then that just went totally like left field, and um, yeah, that's how that was. So, can Bishop take his time? Let me take my time. No, oh my goodness, no, that was, yeah, that look, sometimes that's how the enemy does things. Oh yeah, it was definitely clickbait. That's how the enemy does things. It'll give you some of the truth, but then you know later it just falls off the cliff. Yeah, my man was on there for like 5 hours, and I said, "There ain't no way I'm gonna be listening to this." So I listened for the first 20 minutes. He's like, "I'm gonna break this down," and then he was talking about all these other like CIA operations, and I'm like, and he's, because the preface, he spent an hour, there's a preface video. He said, look, I'm going to talk about the autopsy reports and findings and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, And then when he did the actual video, I was like, all right, well, this was kind of not what I was expecting. And then I said, well, the last time he did a couple part series, and he had to, lay the foundation work, and And I just tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, and it was just like, no, no, no. I said, yeah, I said, let me go ahead and let the people know that, yeah, this is, yeah, I feel bad for the family of Pastor Stephen Darby because, you know, now that's now somebody's trying to make money off of that, just like what Sister E was saying, right? And it's a shame when our people are trying to profit off of death. We're learning, right? We're trying to take advantage of and do things like the heathen, and that's not a that's not good. That's not good. But this morning I was going to jump into Ezekiel and take another look and kind of see how things were leading. Because if you hadn't noticed, we're leading up to a culmination of things. When we see these great deceptions happening, we also have to keep in mind that there is a spiritual outbreak that then creates a physical one. We were in a time, if you hadn't understood this, I still remember December, January, January of 2021, 2022. And the spiritual darkness that was there. And people are trying to get back to their feet. I mean, I'm not going to repent. I'm not going to try and do anything. We done closed the discussion, CRT. Remember, that was the whole CRT battle, right? And then remember, Putin was like, yo, you see my face in front of these Israelite forefathers, in front of these church forefathers that were bruised, that were dark skinned, melanated. And then that's when a lot of our people realized, they said, oh, yo, this dude's about to fight. And remember, we said, look, he's going to fight because he's laying the stage, right? You see the Luciferians do that with their um, imagery. And when the Luciferians do it, it's no shame on them. They're trying to open up whatever demonic portals that they're trying to do to cause influence and confusion and all sorts of demonic things. And then when I saw that last year, and we noticed this as a community, we said, yeah, he's showing the basis of why he's getting ready to fight. And lo and behold, February 24th, remember, it was, oh, he's not going to do anything in their community. He's not going to do anything. Oh, he's just going to stay at the border. Oh, he just wants some money. Oh, he just wants this, right? These are the things that they were saying here in this country. And we were saying, if you go back to my broadcast 8 months ago, we were saying, oh, this dude's about to do it. This man's about to do it. Because why? Because no matter what they were trying to say, it's prophecy. And so now, today, in this hour, at this moment of time, they're like, is he really going to do it? He's holding nuclear drills again. Remember the whole drills? He's doing, exercises. Remember the exercises? And then we understand that when he was doing that and he was building that up, we only had about a couple months later, and there it was. But we also had some other distraction points. within the awakening. It always does. There's a cycle to this. It's cyclical, but the stronger the distraction, then you know there's a stronger birth pain, right? It's a stronger birth pain, and they know it too. But see, the thing is you understand they're not trying to panic the people. Let's not panic them. Oh, well, we didn't see that happening. Oh, well, we were trying to come to the table. These folks are real happy. Oh, yeah, see, I told you they're going to have peace and stuff like that. And they're like, no, it's not going to happen. And they literally withdrew that within like 24 hours. Oops, that was wrong. That was the wrong email that was sent. Let me give you the updated email. No peace. So the issue isn't if this thing is going to happen. It's really when. It's really when. And they are not trying to hear the when it's going to happen. They're looking at, well, I want this for Christmas. I need to do this shopping for Christmas. And it's funny because um, it finally came on out in a White House press conference, in a White House press briefing. Remember, I told you, I said, look, the oil actually should have been raised on up back in late August, September. But then it actually started going back down late August, September. You want to know why? And the press conference just confirmed it about, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday press conference. Their presidential press conferences. And shout out to these YouTube internet news organizations, especially in the Gentile community, because look, so I'm surprised a lot of them are talking about this. But it was made known that they are going through and they're using the strategic reserve. And it was okay because that strategic reserve will get filled back in when the price of oil is at $67 a barrel. Let me just tell you this, fam. What OPEC Plus is trying to do, they're not going for the market manipulation. They're going with that $100 a barrel. They're trying to tap it out at $140 a barrel. Because why? Because you have to understand they're pricing everything and everyone out of the markets, and that includes the United States. What are you going to do when you don't have any oil to build you back up again? This is their estimate, presumably an estimated 21 days of diesel left. You can't have an economy run. That will literally shut down the economy by Thanksgiving. There ain't gonna be no turkeys because not gonna hardly be any groceries at the grocery store. So everything is going to shut down, and it won't be that everything shuts down. First, what will shut down would be like the automotive industry. Because why? They're not trying to have cars on the roads to do what? To break down. Oh, we'll get it towed. We'll get it right here. It's gonna be a systematic breakdown. And they'll shut it. They'll shut down what's the most vital things. It's not just gonna be everything stops. You'll have certain manufacturing that will be stopping. When they say supply chain crisis, yeah, they're gonna stop the amount of goods and the amount of supplies that they're going to use. What will be deemed necessary equipment. So so waking up this morning, I had a dream, family. I'm not gonna lie. I said, Father, I said, do you want me to share this? I said it feels so like fragmented and over the place and and honestly, the most I said, yeah. You said you're gonna share it. And honestly, family, I hate sharing dreams. Because it's, well, what do you think's gonna happen? What's this? What's that? Listen, I honestly don't know. Because a lot of in the dreams, right? It's a lot of personal things. It's a lot of personal things, and I'm like, Father, I said, I really don't want to share this. I told him, I really don't want to share this. And he said, No, you're gonna share it. I said, All right, it's your will. Because my will would say, No, I'm not gonna do it. But it's his will. So let me kind of get you started in this. All right. So when I went to sleep last night, I was listening to Sister E. Do we deserve reparations? And so I was just so tired. I cut off the TV, and then I woke up, kind of got resettled, and then I was off to sleep again. This time I was dreaming. And when I was dreaming, I was in a house with my family. And the house, it was like in the middle of like a desert kind of canyon area. It literally looked like I was back in Arizona. And all my family's there in the house. All my family's there. And they're asking me questions. They're like, hey, dad, because my son would say, hey, dad, can I go with my friends to just to grab this real quick, from school? And he said, I'll be right back. I said, all right. And I didn't really understand the extent. And then my ex-wife, she comes into the room and she says, I'm getting things packed for us to go. And I said, and I'm looking okay. I kind of had a little bit of confusion. And then she kind of had like a a scowl on her face, you know, like, and she's like, I hope you're happy. And I said, okay, because I really didn't know what she was talking about then. And then, I had gotten I got something on the TV, and they were saying, "Hey, we're gonna be on over to go." It's like it was folks from like the YouTube handle. It's like, "Hey, we're gonna go on over, to get this if you need anything, and we're gonna stop by." I said, okay. And so, I'm still trying to figure out like what's going on. And then as I leave, I'm kind of walking out the house. you know, the kids kind of, are off to whatever they were doing. And so then I'm leaving the house and the roads are just like empty and everything else. And so I recognize that, a lot of it is like burn scars from, bombs and things of that nature. And so I'm heading into, the city, and some of the folks that I talked to earlier, they pull up and they're in a Jeep, and they said, "Hey, we're getting ready to head back into the city to get some things together, and then we're gonna meet with Big Red." This is what they said. "We're gonna meet with Big Red later." I said, "Okay." I said, "Don't." I said, "No, no worries. I have to do my errands, and I'll catch up with you all." It's like, "All right." So I get shuffled to where I was going to, and I got finished with what I was doing, and there were white folks there that I was talking to. It was two white men, and they were not very happy with what I was doing. And so I said to them, I said, "All right, now that I'm done with the interviews, we're going to get ready for transportation to to bring the prisoners home." I distinctly remembered that. And the white person, he wanted to say something. There was some sort of like indignation because it was like, you know, I'm there to survey and see, um, how the prisoners would be like reintegrated into, you know, not society, but like the new society. Because keep in mind, like people are leaving, people are fleeing. And as I'm kind of like driving through, it's the South, and I'm recognizing, I'm like, oh, this is Florida. I'm, it's like, oh, this is 301 here on the west side. I'm like, oh, but it was not the same. It was like the bombing campaign went everywhere except for the streets. And whoever had already cleared out, like they already cleared out the streets, and there are still things left. Like they didn't bomb the prisons, they didn't bomb, like a couple of the different factories. It was like there were strategic bombings, but it didn't touch any of the prisons. And so, that was kind of my job, was to go through and survey the prisoners and people, and even our own folks were asking, like, are they, you sure you want murderers on out there? And they just, you sure that that they shouldn't stay? And I was telling, I was like, no, my mandate says that I'm to interview all the prisoners, and rate them, and once they get back to the land, then they're under, like, some sort of supervised custody or whatever that was. So so this was like you know past the campaigns, past whatever military action that had been done, and this is like the cleanup, because the folks that had already gone, most of our people had already gone, like, "I'm out of here." They left. And a lot of the other folks that that were already awakened, right? They were there, like, helping with efforts to get the other folks, to get the rest of our people. And so, the other folks, especially the Gentiles that were there, with that weren't trying to be attached to us or really around us, but they were kind of working because, whatever governmental authority was making them work. And I could tell they weren't happy, with the situation. But I could also tell it was we had supplies and they didn't. We had some sort of a wealth scheme and they didn't. And so, it was funny because my family was getting packed up and, the whole situation because I tell you, my ex-wife is a Gentile. And when she came on out and it was like, "Are you happy with this?" and everything else, look, she was not happy about my awakening, but I understood. I said, "Wow." I said, "I'm looking at when the culmination comes down, right?" Because let me tell you, it was sparse. It was sparse. And it was like the only folks who were left were the folks in the prison houses. I didn't see any type of UN soldiers. I didn't see anything else. Matter of fact, the only white folks that I saw were them. That was it. I didn't really ask them like, how's your family or anything else. It was just we're getting down to the meat of, you know, who are you going to take from out of these prisons? Because there was no type of like construction material. There were no um, you know bobcats or earth movers. Nothing was being repaired, and there you could tell that folks had evacuated. You could tell that this was that the last of us leaving, right? But, when that happened, nobody was, saying, "Oh, we're gonna build this on out." There wasn't any type of like nostalgia and like, going through things and looking at things. It was like we were there to like wrap up business and go. And it was pockets of us, you know, that had been assigned to do different things, to wrap up different things. And I know that that was like what I was assigned to do. I don't know how I got assigned it, but I wasn't doing any type of like running a POW camp or things of that nature. No, it actually wasn't that. It was no, I was just getting the other um Israelites on that were in the prison houses. That was it, you know. Okay, yeah, they're gonna get processed and going through that, and it kind of felt like that, like the last day. Because, I mean, it was, like, real sunny, there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and everything was just, like, still, the weather was still. It was, like, right after a hurricane had hit, like, still, no wind or anything else, but the ground was just real dry, it was dusty. That's why I was like I was thinking, I was like, "Is this Arizona?" I said, "This is it's crazy," but there was no mountains. So, that was really it for the dream that I had. It wasn't anything like, um perplexing or, like frightening or, things of that nature. It was like literally the battle was already done. Like the people that were left had basically given on up. Everybody um, that was there, they're just kind of living in, whatever situation that they're living in. But I'm not gonna lie, when we were encountering each other Israelites, we were happy. It was like a joy to like see, our other family. It's like, hey, yeah, it was a celebration, really. It was celebratory. Hey, yeah, I'm gonna grab this stuff, I'm gonna get this stuff. But I really do believe, and I don't wanna just have this for the clickbait and things of that nature. But I really do believe that what we see coming, we'll never truly believe it or understand it with our own eyes. I mean, we're gonna try to be ready for it. We'll try to prepare for it. But I actually believe that we will never truly, truly realize how bad it is until we see it. This is why it's important when when the Most High says, "Look, don't be hoping and wishing for that day," because a lot of us may not make it out of that day. We're looking forward to what's to come after, but that day is going to be something that we will never forget, and it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse than anything that they've come up with. And it's crazy because there was like literally no troops on the ground, no nothing, just running around and and whatever I was driving, going to the little site that I need to go to, and but it was just it was very eye opening to say the least. To see, well, nobody's really here. A lot of our folks had left, and we're the ones, bringing the rest of our family members or the rest of our Israelites. Which kind of goes to show you, it's like, the selfishness of things, right? Here we are, right, in this awakening. But then as soon as everybody, sees what's happening, they're gonna bounce without a forethought about all the other, well, what about our other brothers and sisters. That was the thing that startled me. I'm like, I'm the only one with a handful of folks, and it's like we're trying to make sure that everybody gets on out. So yeah, family, I really didn't have much to say on that because yeah, that was where the Most High led me today. And I know, a lot of us when we will have things in mind, right? We'll have things in mind as I was going to go through and I was going to go through and talk about Ezekiel 28. I may do that tomorrow because that's a it's a great um it was a great kind of a cornerstone teaching with what was going on. But I'm going to tell you, when the Most High's word says something, it really means it. It really means it because his word's going to be accomplished. And the funny thing is, when you read Ezekiel, Ezekiel kind of tells you from beginning to end of how the Most High is going to deliver his people, and when his people get delivered, how he's going to set things back up, how the order is reestablished forever. So, fam, I wasn't going to be here very long. But yeah, this isn't, and I'm not gonna say this isn't to discourage you because, you know, the whole thing was we had left. Let me just explain this to you. There wasn't many black folks that were around. There actually wasn't. I'm gonna say it wasn't many black folks. There wasn't many people around in general. So I don't know their disposition if they had died or if they fled, but again, there wasn't many around. So, you can make of this dream as you want. I know a lot of folks have been having a lot of dreams. I just know that I really don't have dreams like that where, the family's back together and we're all packing to get up and go and get on out of there. For me, I don't know if that was a prophetic dream of my circumstance. I don't know. But what I do know is I was like, man, this is a shame. Everybody done left and we still had our brothers and sisters in the storehouses. in these prisons. That was like what hurt me, and I didn't. And here I am trying to get them processed. Hallelujah. I'll just go here. This is Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. I want to remind everyone, especially in this time of distraction, this is what they are trying to distract us from. This is what they are afraid of. This is what they understand and see coming. See, a lot of times we get caught up in the current distraction, and that's fine. We're human. But the Most High is really beginning to show them what's getting ready to happen. See, you have to understand CRT was one thing about us, and then destruction in Ukraine. Now, whether you believe that we're the people or not, this is the choice that they're making. And this is what came to me last night when I was just thinking about things just by my lonesome. And I'll elaborate on this a little bit more later. I'm still kind of seeing how the Most High wants me to develop this. But the reality is, the Gentiles are going through their awakening right now. Let's cut past the interviews. Let's cut past all this thing. Let's cut past. No, they're being forced to confront, no matter how much they try to put distractions in their way, no matter how much they put different coloring books in front of their faces. They're getting ready, and now they're confronting with their eyes right now this whole thing. You want to know why? Because this distraction isn't just amongst Black folks, it's nationwide, and some can even argue worldwide. And remember, they don't get a, a grace period like us. It's different. And see, when that condemnation, it's not a condemnation on Kanye per se, but it's a condemnation on us. Hey, are you listening to what he's saying? He may not, the marbles not may not all be there, but are you picking out the meat? Do you understand? Do you realize what he's saying? Oh, he needs to be canceled. He needs no, 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 no. No, he's not. He's explaining to you. You're gonna end up canceling yourselves. And that's what they're getting ready to do. They're getting ready to unanimously condemn themselves. And they didn't even know it. They don't even know it. See, they did it with CRT last year. Now it's a more direct question. Are you going to recognize that we are the people of this book? Are you going to recognize that you have Judah? The only thing I pray he would have done was provide more scriptural context instead of just, running his mouth. Hey, look at Zephaniah. Let's look at Isaiah. Let's look at these scriptures here in Ezekiel. Let's look at these scriptures here in Jeremiah. Let's look at these scriptures here in Zechariah. You get what I'm saying? I was praying that there would have been more context, but I'm not the Most High. But I do know one thing: the Most High looks at their hearts, and He's given them plenty, chance after chance after chance after chance. And it's crazy because the swordsman is literally holding drills to use the sword. Have you understood this? While these things are going hand in hand, have you understood this? Why these nations are doing the BRICS and now they're trying to, utilize things? Do you understand how soon frigates and things can load something up in point A and move them over to point B worldwide in less than a week? It doesn't take long. And it's hard to chase after people in the Navy if you ain't got no fuel. If you don't have the fuel and the resources to what? To quell protest. So it's coming, fam. It's coming. Rest assured, it's coming. But also rest assured that the promises that we have in the Most High, it's in His Word. See, this thing is a double edged sword. We have a promise and they have a promise. They're not going to like the promise that he has for them, but he's given them an opportunity to have an out. And that's a lot more than what a lot of us would say or do. Let's just be real. We would tell them, man, you are lucky that the Most High is as compassionate as He is. 'Cause that wouldn't be most of us in our community, generally speaking. So, family, I'm gonna get up on out of here. Tomorrow we'll finish up Ezekiel. But I really do believe, family, we're at that time. You see the time, right? So you know how good the Most High is. He lets us see it's happening. It's not this thing ain't in the dark. He's letting us see what he's getting ready to do, and all we can do is just give him praise. That's it. Just give him praise. Just give him glory. So, family, with that said, Most High willing, I'll be on tomorrow. Again, if you'd like to support this channel, I have the Cash App below. And make sure also that you support the Dry Bones Project. That information is below. Because to be honest, I don't know how much longer we'll have here because this return is in my mind, in my opinion, our return is looking more and more imminent. Isn't it funny how now these African nations are now getting their act together? Isn't it awesome to see them now getting their act together? And we've been saying this. Hey, Africa's gonna start. They're gonna start unifying. They're gonna start getting their act together. They're gonna start getting their stuff together. No, it's not. They're always this and always that. Remember all those detractors and everything else? Well, look at what they do. Look what. Well, I don't believe it till they're kicking the Europeans out, and then all these European countries are getting kicked out. Remember 2 years ago? No, no, no. They love the Gentiles. They love the Gentiles. And now these folks are like, yeah, we're about to do bricks. It ain't gonna be no dollar. If you understood the cornerstone of bricks is gonna be on gold, and now if you understand who has the most gold, Africa does. They're literally giving the power back to Africa. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought? Now, when we get on back there, yeah, their drilling China's drilling operation will stop. Hold on there, Uganda. Let's readjust these contracts. Judah's back. Let's take a look before you give away the whole farm and not even know it. Let's take a look. You know, we're gonna be saying, "Oh no, we're back. We're gonna have a suspension on all things. We're gonna look at these contracts. We're gonna take a look at this. We're gonna help out our brother. We're gonna help out Israel, and we're gonna get this thing right." See, they know what's coming too, but look, they'd rather choose the lesser of the two evils. Hallelujah. Yeah, a lot of the shenanigans that have happened in Africa for millennia, a couple of millennia, is now ending, and they know it too. They know that their grip is slipping. I'm just waiting now, and about I'm gonna call this by mid-December, you'll have half of the European Union wanting to negotiate with Russia. If they hadn't already turned their back. It's getting cold out there, family. And OPEC messed them up. All their traditional folks that used to be their ride and dies, they left. So it's coming, family. These are now very, very interesting times. So the distractions have to be greater and greater. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Israel.